the depth chart are those the 5 starters for Saturday, or could that change again?
They're the 5 starters, the 5 healthiest starters that we have at this point. We have gone through some injuries we've had to deal with. Some players have been out, and we've had to make the best of making some changes and moving guys in different positions. But the 5 that are indicated right now are the ones that are the healthiest and in best position to help us win a football game.
Mike, can you just talk a little bit about what you've seen in UCLA in your studies and what impresses you?
First of all, they're a fast, athletic team. They're an experienced team. They're a team that has a lot of their starters back. A lot of their players have played, for them and had played in some significant games. On offense, obviously, Hundley is the guy. I mean, Sports Illustrated Heisman candidate. Almost 8,000 total career yards, offensively for them. He is a guy that really is as good as advertised. Defensively, they're fast, they're athletic. They've had some guys that have played, made some significant stats in some of the games that they've played. Their linebackers are guys that are down here players, and they're a multiple front defense. So they've played well. And they're an exceptional team. A lot of people have them picked to finish in the top 10. Some have them picked to win it all. But, they are a very good football team that's got to cross 3 time zones to play us here in Charlottesville. So our guys will be ready as well.
Like last year, you guys played Taysom Hill and Marcus Mariota, arguably 2 of the most prolific runners, quarterbacks in the country. How do they compare to Hundley, and facing those guys, how does that help you on Saturday?
They're good quarterbacks in their own right. Hundley is a guy that is exceptional with his arm and with his legs, and that's the threat that they have, the style of offense that they run. He's been an integral part in what they do. He's the guy that makes it all go. They don't have a lot of plays. They have a lot of opportunities where he can run the ball, pull the ball, and throw it vertical, or throw it out to the flats or coming out of the backfield. But he does a phenomenal job in running the offense, and it takes the skills that he has and maximizes those skills. So he's a very accomplished player. And again, I give credit to the other quarterbacks you've mentioned who we've played against, but he is also he's special.
Mike, has the experience you have in the secondary shown itself the way you would have hoped in preseason? Particularly in the corner, even without Nicholson, looks like you've got a lot of guys there that played a lot.
That's one element of getting better defensively has been the corner play throughout August camp and having guys like Maurice Kennedy and Tim Harris who played in college football games last year and has really looked good. It does cause us issues with Trey being out, but then at the same time, Draquan Hosky, and as I mentioned, Tim Harris, Brennan Phelps is a guy that's played some corner for us as well, even though he's also a safety and nickel. With all the different packages that we have, we feel that the defensive backs are guys that have been in a lot of games and have played games for us, and that's one area of experience for us.
Mike, you've got Wilkins and Brown listed as an either-or at tackle. Does that hinge on Andrews' health and availability, or what's the decision to be made there?
Yeah, Dave, Andrew is, as we all know, he had the turf toe injury and the surgery in spring, and has kind of gotten himself back into playing, getting playing shape. Had a little issue with his shoulder, so he's practiced, he's full go. And, with the multiple fronts that we run, there may be an opportunity for him to play. One of the things with all these freshmen, there's not too many freshmen that we plan on playing this particular year right now. This is a difference in years past. But, you want to put them in positions to have some success, and there'll be a lot of opportunities for all these guys to play. And, Andrew's one of them. Jamil Kamara is one of them. Quinn Blanding and Donnie Donovan right now seem to be the 4 that have the best opportunities to play early.
Mike, in regards to the offensive line, could you just go through real quick, why these five were why these five sort of rose above the rest, and in particular, I guess Mooney, and then I guess Burbank switched positions, and Connor Davis. Why you decided why this was the right mix, why you felt this was the right group going into the season?
Well, of the five, they're the best that we felt to give us the best opportunity. Ross Burbank has played center before. In 2012, he was a center. Connor Davis has been a guard, but he started out playing left tackle for us, and he's a guy that's on the right side. Right guard is a guy you look at the position is a guy that protects the quarterback's throwing hand on short passes, and Connor's that position is important to us. And probably one of the unsung heroes in camp has been a Michael Mooney, who has done a really good job of playing left tackle. And we've been talking about all these other guys and injuries: Jay Whitmire, Sadiq Olawanju, Jack English, of late Jack McDonald, John Pond. Those are guys that have had issues. But Michael Mooney has done a really nice job in camp. And so, Mark, looking at the five that are playing, there are five that are the most healthiest, the five that we believe give us the best opportunity to do some of the things we need to do to play against a really good UCLA defense.
How dire was the injury situation there at times during camp? I mean, how much of a challenge was that over the course of the past week?
Well, injuries are part of football, and the position just happened to be the offensive line position for us. But as I said, the ones that have taken a lot of reps and snaps are guys that are healthy, that are guys that we're going to count on to help us play, against a very good defense. And so we feel confident about who we have, and that's the main point right now. Those guys, they all know what they're doing. They understand the concepts and the plays, and now we have to perform on the field. And so we'll see. But the guys that are playing, we feel pretty confident about.
What is the status of Demetrius Nicholson?
Trey is he's practicing individual drills. He's practicing some team drills. He's again, his situation is still going to be predicated upon how he feels, and our doctors making that determination. But so it's kind of a wait to see, week by week. But he's anxious to get out there, but we want to put him out there when he's ready, and when the doctors feel he's ready. And right now, he's not ready. Dominic is kind of in the same situation, although he's further along from his groin surgery. And, we feel pretty good about the wide receiver position as a whole. So there's no rush to get him back, but at the same time, it's about where he is and where the doctors feel that he is. And we'll see, as I said, as time goes on.
You mentioned UCLA having to come across 3 time zones. Was that game time dictated to you by TV, or was that your choice? How did you end up with a 12 o'clock start?
That was the time that was given. I'd like to play 6 o'clock in the morning our time if possible. But, it's, again, I believe is either TV driven or whatever. I don't know the particulars about who decides the game time. We play whatever time they say the game's going to be held. And 12 o'clock noon is the game time.
I'm curious just about the success you've had in recruiting so far. I know you can't talk about individuals, but can you just address the fact that, getting all these high-quality, high-caliber guys under the circumstances of a couple losing seasons?
It's important that the message that the university has is paramount, and that's the opportunity to get a world-class degree, a great education. It's important that the players that are here in the program have a chance to speak to these recruits and their parents. And the things that are important to me are that they go to class, they show class, they treat people with dignity and respect. Those are the rules of the program, but I am committed to their academic success here. And the best recruiters are the players that are on our team that are saying that, yes, this is a head coach that believes in that, and it's reflected in the GPAs, the number of guys on the honor roll, the number of guys that are having success in the classroom. So when players can say to other players and their parents, you need to come, when the school itself stands on the merits of what a UVA degree provides, they're interested. And the belief that the ones that say we're coming because we can make the difference, that's also significant as well. So, you know, there are several elements, Jerry, to that, but the biggest thing is a young man that can become an educated man, a young man that can add to the development of a team and help a team win championships in a place where life after football will be something significant to them as well.
When they ask you about the football part of it, though, I know that's important to them as well, but what do you tell them in terms of believe you can turn the program around and they can win here?
Sure. I tell them that I believe that this team, this staff, this year is an opportunity for us to get better and improve as a team. And, you know, that them being a part of this process, part of the team, is something that can also lead to the success of the team. So I believe that 100%. And they believe it. And the ones that have said yes thus far, as you've alluded to, are high caliber type of young men that have the same type of goals and dreams to do well on the field and in the classroom and ultimately help us win championships here.
Mike, there was a great deal of resolve expressed on media day by the players to kind of put last year in the past and kind of turn it around for themselves, for you. Obviously, playing such a formidable opponent in the first game could kind of put a damper on that if things don't go great. Is it important for you this week to make them not put too much stock, put plenty of stock, but not all their stock into what happens against UCLA?
You know, this is a season is a long process, and the process that we went through after spring practice, into summer workouts, into August camp was, and I know it's cliche, but for us it's very important that we do play one game at a time and one opponent at a time. And, you know, our best effort to each opponent that we have. We recognize the formidable opportunity that we have with UCLA, but we also know that, you know, that there's other games after them. And, you know, this approach that the players have taken with unity, with, hey, listen, we need to execute, we need to perform because of the production. We have the guys we believe that can be the productive guys on the field to help you win games. And one way to do that is to play, you know, again, by all accounts, a team that's going to win it all, in some say in college football. But our players have taken a step-by-step approach to not only how they prepare, but this season, and holding each other accountable and responsible for where we are and where we want to go. So it's not a, you know, it's right in front of us as we stare down, you know, these opponents, and UCLA is the biggest opponent right now for us.
Mike, in regards to Grayson, is he better set up for success than maybe some of his predecessors were since you've taken over as coach, just in terms of personnel, having a system for a second year in a row, things like that? And then also I'm curious what you've sort of learned about handling the quarterback position over the years that maybe you plan on applying this year with Grayson now as your new quarterback.
With all the process, Grayson is the best at the present moment of executing the plays, running the offense, and doing the things that are required for a quarterback, you know, to run this offense and for us to be successful. We are in a situation where, you know, I've said it before, that even with David, you know, he's one of the top returners in terms of passing yardage. With Grayson, he's, you know, his pass attempts have been, they're more than 9 of the likely starters or to be named starters. So there is an experience that this year, this team, that the quarterbacks do have. In other years, it hasn't been that way. This is one of those years that, for us, position-wise, that there have been 2 guys that played in college football games, and we're relying on the fact that being an experienced player, having the same coordinator with the same terminology, having what we believe really good wide receivers surrounded by running backs, those type of things we believe can help Grayson, David, Matt Johns be successful. And Grayson has taken this challenge. He's one of our captains, as you all know. And I believe he's done a really good job this camp in fostering the attitude of, you can count on me. And we are going to count on him to do well and play well.
Mike, if you needed another tight end, would you move one of the fullbacks there temporarily to try to save Evan Butts' redshirt, or is he an option to play this year?
You know, we will play the freshman that will help us, that can help us win games this year. One of the options, Evan has done a really nice job of performing. He's also a long snapper. So there are decisions when it comes to, where does he fit as far as a tight end and a long snapper. Vince Croce can play that tight end or that H position. And right now our snappers have done a really nice job, so there's no need for Evan Butts at this point. But, again, there are a few that are on the outline that, that will travel with us, but they may not play because we are at a point, again, as I said, for this team this year, that there are some experienced players here.
I know we shouldn't read much into some of these depth chart listings. Gooch is listed behind Keon Johnson at wide receiver. I'm sure you'll be playing 3 wideouts a lot of times. Is that a reflection of Gooch's? I mean, above him. Gooch is above Keon Johnson. Is that a reflection on his camp or Keon's camp, or what's into that?
No, it's a reflection that if you look at the receiving core, I believe is one of the stronger suits of this team. Miles has done an excellent job of preparing himself as a 5th-year guy to be a guy that you can count on. Not to take anything away from Keon, but there's Andre Leverone. There's, again, you look at the receivers. I believe this group is a talented group, and they'll all have an opportunity to play. In different personnel groupings. The things that we do, that we're asking them to do, formations. I mean, so many things that we try to get them in to utilize them as weapons, and we'll continue to keep trying to do that. But Miles has definitely been a guy that's really stood out in camp.
Just talking to Coach Fairchild, Coach Lewis, talking about KP's year last year, obviously over 1,000 yards, but they mentioned how a lot of it was, on his own. He would kind of drag defenders and kind of just push through power yards. How can he somewhat help that offensive line because the way his style, his running style and things like that, and realistic goal him to repeat that 1,000-yard goal again?
Well, first of all, Kevin is a phenomenal young man. Most schemes, most offenses, if you allow the offensive lineman to get on the defenders, he's got a strong lower body. I mean, you look at some of those plays, he is dragging defenders with him. And one of the reasons we switched with the bigger wide receiver group is so they could block on the perimeter and do some of those other things that will allow KP to get to second-level opportunities. And he's had a very, very good summer, good August camp, and we expect production from him as well. The kind of runner that you need to move the chains, and KP has done an excellent job thus far. Again, he's one of our captains as well.
One of the oars on the depth chart there is DJ Hill, who had kind of vanished for a while, but has reemerged on the depth chart. What's his camp been like, and what can he contribute maybe?
DJ's another guy that is a 3-4 phase special teams guy that's been around for a while and has, his football IQ is improved. He dabbled with baseball a little bit, but he's, proved to be a guy that's reliable in a special team standpoint. And there are some packages, again, that suit his talents and his skill set. So, again, when I talk about this team, I talk about some of these guys that might not have been every down starters, but they've been in the program for a while. They're the guys that have emerged with roles that have really made us a better football team. And then you speak to how many – we're not playing a whole bunch of freshmen, and it's guys like, DJ Hill, Darius Lee, Vince Croce, guys that David Mars, guys that have been on the team but have stepped up their opportunity. Micah Kaiser, I could just go through a list of guys that have really improved their play that's going to help us in a lot of areas. And DJ is a guy that fits in that category.
Did you guys, is this correct, Alec Vazinalek is the 5th captain? They see that? Somebody tweeted that last night?
No, well, if you guys remember, I said he was a special teams captain. I just didn't tell the team, but Alec is a guy that was one of the main cogs in our leadership council that we had. And I just felt it was important, again, to just bring that up, the awareness that he has for this team. He's a former walk-on, and he has earned a scholarship like so many other walk-ons. And in fact, just yesterday in front of the team, I put Daniel Ham on scholarship. And he's another young man that I believe deserves the opportunity because of what he's done for this team. And I take great pride and joy in taking and awarding guys scholarships that have demonstrated, they can do it for us on the field. They do it in the classroom, and again, they do it in the community. So, but Alex, yes, is our special teams captain, and again, the opportunity to award scholarships for walk-ons is something that's important to me.
Mike, what's UCLA's pass rush like? Are they conservative? Are they heavy blitzers? And I know you like to exude confidence in your players, but does it cause you any anxiety that you have a new guy out there protecting the quarterback's back? And does that make you be more conservative in your pass protection?
They're fast defense. They're an athletic defense. They don't pressure much on first, second down, but their MO, if they get you in third and long situations, and they're a multiple front defense that will just get after it. And they have the different pass rushers. I mean, there was one defensive lineman that didn't play last year but played in their spring game that he's really formidable. There is one of their defenders who's, interesting enough, Miles Jack, who's a linebacker, who was an inside linebacker last year, now he's an outside linebacker. He's also the third leading returning rusher on their team, so he played both ways. And they talk about putting him in positions to come off the edge. So that pass rush that they have is very athletic. And it'll be important for us to give Grayson, the amount of time necessary, to get rid of the ball, to get it into playmakers' hands. But their pass rush is a very good pass rush. Their secondary are guys that can cover. They're not overly tall, but they're very athletic. And we'll just have to take advantage of some of the mismatches that we perceive to be, at an advantage for us. But very good defensively, Jerry.
Any other questions for Coach? Hold on.
How long is Sadiq kind of a week-to-week thing too, or is that going to be something that could last a while?
Sadiq has got a lower leg injury that it's going to be maybe a few weeks. We expect him back, but again, I'm not a doctor, and the way his body heals, and in consultation with our doctors, they'll determine when he's ready to come back. But his rehab is going nicely right now, and we'll definitely need him when he gets back. But right now, we'll go with the guys that are here.
Have you gotten an update on Whitmire?
Same thing with Jay Whitmire. I mean, his situation may be a little longer, because of his issues. But again, with the medical staff and with Jay, we'll see. I can address that further when we feel there's a time that's close to him being close to playing, and he's not at that point yet.
Mizell was talking back the first week of camp how healthy he was, and everybody was excited about his return. Has he had as good a camp as you anticipated, and what kind of impact do you see him making?
Smoke has done a great job in the learning curve part, and the biggest thing that kept him out of games sometimes, obviously one was the injury, but the other was just learning the whole package, the pass protections and things like that. He's done a great job of becoming a complete player. Whether you dot the I with him, put him in the backfield, you put him in a slot, you use him as a go in motion, hand the ball guy. I mean, he's got all those things. He's going to return kickoffs for us. He's back there. He'll return punts as well. So it's important to give dynamic players opportunities to make dynamic plays, and he is definitely one of those guys for this team.